Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikita and I'm an artist from Lithuania. And today is gonna be another video from the series which have been happening for the past few videos called Human Nature series. And this specific painting is called If You Try to Please Everyone, There Will Be Death and Blood. Quite a striking title, probably one of the most straightforward titles I ever done in my painting, and I'm gonna talk about that and the meaning. Also, I'm gonna talk about the battle of this specific painting and how it transfers to general battle within the practice. I spoke about it a little bit in a previous painting video about no need for a refund. Essentially why I spoke it in there is because that painting was actually pretty straightforward or pretty easy for me to achieve, and I feel like it's quite a successful painting. Whereas this specific painting, it was totally opposite. It was very difficult. The journey to it was quite bumpy. But let's start with the meaning first. So when I was making this painting, I knew pretty much nothing of the title, but I knew what I wanted to paint in terms of a concept. And I knew that I wanted to paint a violent painting and portray the idea of violence towards someone, or like violence to submit someone for our dominance. And because I was making this whole series around manipulating the human body and abstracting human body, I wanted to do something similar with this painting. And actually I wanted to portray two people, similarly to Loving Dance painting which I posted previously. But I wanted to paint a very messy image, a person who is forcing another person to eat dog food. I know that is madness, but I felt like it would be a weird yet an interesting way to portray the power and portray the violence. However, this painting was not looking good, it was not going to the right direction, and I decided to change it around a bit. The reason for my change I will discuss in the second part of my dialogue. So I decided to paint a slightly different concept but still quite violent, and however it's violent towards yourself. And what I did, I broke down a human body and painted a person who is pretty much getting his limbs torn apart, and there is blood and there is a lot of red paint and there is pain. And essentially what does it mean is that a person is like trying to give out all of himself for some specific outside reasons, whether it's to please someone or try to prove their position in the society or some sort of negligence of themselves, and therefore it leads to the pain and eternal suffering. That's more or less my interpretation, but there are way many more ways you can look at the painting. You could use that as a base to break down the painting into your own concept which you come up with. You don't have to go specifically with this one, but it can be a really good food for your thought. So let's come back to the second question, the question of struggle. As I previously mentioned, this painting was very difficult for me, and the main reason for its difficulty was probably the colors, but also the form and the concept. And actually there is not one main reason, but a compilation of reasons. And in the beginning, when I said that the painting wasn't working, I didn't like few things. I didn't like this bright blue, and also I did not like compositions nor the lines, because I felt that the lines were not authentic to my own painting language. And you can see that I was struggling to figure out how to fix it, and I would turn the canvas and I would try to look for it upside down and try to add new forms, but it was not working. And then I decided to slap totally new forms, which you see they're like dark red forms on a green background, and then I start playing with them and I see that some of them not working, they're too flat, and I start adding more forms, and then I start painting over. And you can actually see how in this video how much I'm battling this canvas, because there is one layer, but then there is another, then there is another, and in a way I was painting like multiple different paintings on the same canvas, and yet it ended up like with a result which is actually totally different from the beginning. If you try to look in the beginning of the video and the end of the video, the composition is totally different. The color is also totally different. It started as quite a bright painting, but then it turned quite black, and it actually, I think, might be, if not the darkest painting, then in like top 3 of the darkest paintings I've done. Why I'm sharing this is because sometimes painting process is not straightforward at all, and when I paint, I don't have like a specific plan of what exactly I'm gonna paint. I apply forms and then I respond to those forms. And this is actually this type of chaotic product is a byproduct of such process, because not all the responses which you give to the canvas are the good responses, and sometimes they might be steering to the wrong direction. And this painting is a proof of that. You might be going wrong direction, then you steer opposite way, the opposite way is also wrong, and then you keep steering until you find something right. For example, those blue lines at the end of the painting which you see are also something not planned, but it's something what I had to find through the process. And if you're a painter, eventually you might come to a similar problem when you end up standing and battling with the painting for days. But I want to say that this is a good thing. Yes, I know sometimes it can be frustrating, but you should understand that a lot of good stuff happens from the bad. And actually, some of my strongest and most successful paintings have also happened through the struggle and difficulties and battling. Because battling forces you to think more, and so forces you to take drastic actions. And a pro tip: if you're struggling and you wanna add something, trust me, don't hesitate to add. If it's gonna ruin the painting, well, then you can add something else, but at least you're not gonna stay with the regret of not adding something. That's something what I always follow, and it always has helped me in the moments of doubting the marks I wanna choose. This video has ended up being quite long, so I'm gonna finish my monologue, and I hope you really liked this video. If you watched until this part, then please consider subscribing. Please consider liking this video, and also give me a comment. Tell me, what do you think about this content? What do you think about my thoughts? What do you think about my paintings? And maybe we can start a good art related dialogue there. Thank you for watching and have a good day.